Okay, fix the mic problem. My name is Bob Sumner, and it's really the favorite sentence I get to say all year round, which is welcome to the final presentation of the ETH Game Programming Laboratory. Before we start, I want to give a big thank you to our fabulous TAs, Dominic and Elena, to Fabio Zun for helping us, Fabio Costa as well, to our fantastic set of students this year. Thank you so much for all the work you've put into the course. And to the audience who decided to show up tonight, it's great to have a nice group here to watch our presentations. As a tradition, since this course is interactive about gaming, I like to start with a quiz. And the quiz is to see if you can identify this famous video game character. So if you have an idea, raise your hand. I see a few. Maybe I can give you a hint. These are some of his friends. And maybe one more hint, in case you're still unsure. So this is from a game called Tetris, and in 10 days, Tetris celebrates its 35th birthday. And I think it's really astounding that a simple concept, this simple puzzle concept, could have such a dramatic impact on our world around us. This simple game that was developed by a Russian scientist and essentially exported from Russia into the US, incorporated and bundled with the Game Boy, permeated our entire society. And I think the message is that even a small game concept can have a dramatic impact on the world. And today we're going to see 7 game concepts that are even much more elaborate and involved than Tetris. And my hope is really that these also have the potential to really make a worldwide impact. So that's our mission with the course. So what is a game programming laboratory? Well, this is a course at ETH Zurich. It's a capstone course. So it's meant to be a course that students take toward the end of the computer science bachelor's and master's program. And it provides an opportunity for them to apply the knowledge that they learn throughout their studies to this common group task of building a game. So it's a fun course, a lot of students take it. It's fantastic, they're really motivated to make games, but there's also this pedagogical underpinnings behind the course, which is why it's part of the program. And we published a paper that describes these concepts in more detail. So if you're curious, please take a look at this publication. You can learn about the more serious aspects that go behind the course design. But just to give you an idea of what the course is about, well, it's about making games. So the students work in small teams, 4, 5, or 6, and they create a novel game for the Xbox console in 1 semester. Just basically 14 weeks, which is very compressed time to produce a game. And they follow this overall program of design, development, and refinement. So the design stage is where the idea of their game happens. So they come with nothing, and they have to immediately start thinking in the first week already, what is my game going to be? This is a sketch from a team the first year we taught it. This is a sketch of their game in that design phase where they were imagining what the game would look like. And here's a screenshot from the final model that they developed for the game. This is also the phase where the students take that initial game concept and they build a physical version. So using cardboard and markers and crayons and glue, they build a physical version that you can play. And here it's the first time that they actually iterate on their game. So they build it, play it, and can test immediately whether the game design and the game concepts work. This is a photo from a example of such a prototype that was a racing game that took place on the Great Wall of China. So that's the physical prototype. This is a screenshot from their final game. And in fact, although the reality of a physical game that you play on the table versus the digital version is quite different, the gameplay was still similar. Now, the development phase is where all of the software engineering happens. So this is the middle portion of the course, and this is where this concept that's already been tested as a physical playable prototype is turned into a video game. So the programming, the asset design, all of the concepts that build the game happen. Here's another example. This was a sailing game in ancient Greece. And here's a photo of the kind of final game, final version that they developed. The final phase is refinement. And here, the game is handed off from the developers to testers, to friends, family, even strangers, students, to test the game and give feedback. And that feedback is then used to refine and improve the game, make sure it's fun and exciting and lives up to all of the expectations, all of the design concepts that were originally envisioned for the game. So that's the last third of the course. The final event is happening right now, which is this public presentation, where all of that effort is funneled into a presentation and demo of what they've created, and each team is going to tell you a little bit about the journey that they went on to build their game. There's a very special aspect of this course, which is quite unique at ETH and I think at most universities, which is it's a partnership between ETH Zurich and ZWK, the Zurich University of the Arts. We had a number of art school students take the course here at ETH, and they're mixed into teams together. And this is interesting because it provides an interdisciplinary experience that matches closely to actually what you encounter in a real game studio, where you have technical people and more design-focused individuals working together. Now, for that, I want to give a big thanks to Rene Bauer for all his support from ZWK. He's here, he came to all the lectures, gave fantastic feedback, and is a big supporter, and I'm really thankful for his input on helping us improve the course year after year. Now, every year the course has a theme, and the idea is that providing a theme somehow gives this spark of creativity. By providing boundaries and limitations, it actually helps you be more creative, because you think, I'm in this strange, theme, in this situation. How do I design in that special case? So the theme this year for the course is a very cool one. It's 2099. So this futuristic concept. What is life like in the year 2099? So what does it mean, actually? It means that when each team, when the students are developing their game, they have to somehow make design decisions that live up to this concept. So they have to think, how does my art design, how does the gameplay, how does the overall concept of my game fit this idea of 2099? So that's a quick introduction. I don't want to speak more because the stars of the show tonight are each of the teams, and we're going to move immediately over to Team 1, Skyrunner, to present their game. So, come on.
Test. today we would like to show you how we went from this unfinished prototype to our final version of the game.
We write the year 2099. A lonely sky runner is training for his big day.
Okay, so that was quite a wild trailer, so let me explain what the game is about. So our game is a party game played with 4 players, and the goal of the game is to collect the rocket parts here in the 4 corners and bring them towards the center. And so on the way you can collect items and power-ups to help yourself or hinder your opponents, and also punch people away. So of course we started with a basic idea. So our idea was to make a fast-paced maze that takes place in the sky, and then we would have some procedural generation to really help the party game aspect, so every iteration of the game plays differently. So this is our first visual prototype. You can see the 4 players in the corner here, and in the center there are the rocket areas. And then we implement this in a physical version, so we cut out some cardboard pieces and some wooden player figurines, and then you could really play the players and well, lift them around and make turns. It was sort of playing like Twister, because the board was very large and 4 people played, so you had to stretch out your arms and place the players. But of course we proceeded to a digital version, so this is our very first version. You can sort of see the snowman and copy in the corner here. And then we proceeded to this version, which already has 4 players and 1 basic item, a speed-up item that you can use to move around faster. And then eventually we decided to go 3D, because we thought it really helped our game design. 3D has a lot more movement options, so you can jump and punch players into the sky. And we think this was a great choice. You can see here at the bottom the 4 rocket tiles that are already implemented. Still looks a bit, well, very prototypey. Then after some more weeks, we came to this version, which is already similar to the final one. You can see the players here again in the corners, and they can walk around and collect items. So in the end, we ended up implementing 6 items. There are mines that you can place that explode and push players away, drones that you can place, and they will chase players and sort of, well, punch them off, and also ice tiles that you can use to make the floor slippery so your opponents slide off. So now I will tell you how we made the game more interesting by our playtesting sessions.
Yes, so with the version you just saw that we had with the items and all, we could finally give it to some friends of ours to play. So we organized 3 playtesting sessions, and the first one you can see right here. It took place in the Fizz Lounge, and then we had another session at one of our groupmates' place. Only 4 people there, but still quite fun. And then another session. So we had 3 sessions in total, and we got a lot of good feedback and had a good fun playing the game. So we implemented all this feedback and some more stuff towards the final version of the game, which you can see here. And we added a lot of stuff. We improved visual clarity, some spawn safe zones, and we'll show you the game in a few seconds in some live gameplay. But first, let's go back to the original idea. So this was the slide you saw in the beginning, and as you can see, every maze is different, fast-paced sky maze, but like with all ideas, they don't quite turn out in practice like you imagined them, and so this is more like what we ended up with. So it's still fast-paced, and still kind of a maze if you just squint your eyes just right, but we don't have procedural generation. We did a level editor instead, and we have 6 different levels, but even though it didn't turn out as we anticipated quite in the beginning, we still think it's a fun game, and we hope to show you this now in some live gameplay. So this is the game. You can see 4 players in the 4 corners, and we're just gonna pick up a rocket part, everybody, and then take it towards the center. So this is the goal of the game: collect the 4 parts, build your rocket, finish it. So let's focus on red player right now. I'm gonna tell you what he does. So he picked up another part, and well, he threw it off. I don't know quite why, but he grabbed another part and placed it. Almost placed it down, it's not quite in there, I think. And grabbed the 3rd part. So now he has 3 parts actually. He only needs 1, so the other players really have to stop him from grabbing the last part, otherwise he will just win. He's grabbed the last part that he needs, and let's see if they can stop him. Oh, he fell off, so they don't need to stop him actually. So he has to go grab that part again. He respawned in the upper left corner. So he's on his way, grabbing the top part. He got it. But let's see. Oh, player blue activated the bridge, so he fell off. He placed down the drone. He got a force field item. He fell off though, so it won't help him anymore. He has to go grab the part again. What's drone reverse? This means that whenever you press right, you actually go left, so you have to be really careful. Well, he got punched off over half the map. So he respawned again. Again, he has to try and grab that part. There you can see the bridges again. He got the part, open control reverse, but he managed to do it, so he won the first game. Let's show you another level. This one is called Twisting Path, and the bridges are a bit more important here, as you will see. Players are still there, and the rocket parts are still in the corner. So, red player is going to grab the most bottom part, and let's see what happens. He punched the blue off, so he can cross the bridge without anyone interfering. He stepped on the mine, so he got blown up. Now he grabbed speed up shoes so he can jump further, and fell for the bridge move again. So he placed down the mine. Let's see if anybody walks into it. And he's going for the bottom left part. He still needs that one, so that's probably a good choice. And I think he'll manage to place that one. Yes. So only green has 1 part, the others don't have any, so red's ahead at this point. Green has 2 parts and blue has 1 now, so it's pretty even. But red already has got the 3rd part, so now he has 3, but he slipped on the ice and couldn't move away and fell off. So you fall off quite a bit in this game, if you noticed. There's a battle between red and green going on, but green got punched off eventually, so now red's going for the last part. Let's see if the other player can stop him from finishing. It doesn't look like it, so red wins again. So, I think that was our game. I hope you come and check it out afterwards. Thanks for listening.
to this presentation of our game project, Hazmat, Every Choice Matters. We are team number 2, and we're 6 people. We're split evenly between ETH and Zethonica guys and ladies. So we have Sven, Julian Bauer, Leo, Nihad, and another Julian who overslept. Don't ask me how he did that, because it's already 6 in the evening. And there's me as well. So, 2099, what will the world look like? Well, in our case, it is digital. We're talking drones, smartphones, and smart homes. Now, in this digital setting, how did we come up with a fast-paced shooter game? Well, let me tell you, it all started with this. We have our player here, we have the shooting there. This art was made mainly by the programming team. But we continued on, we combined our forces and decided on a lot of stuff together. We really wanted to have everyone involved constantly. We voted on which character we liked best. Here are a couple of environment concepts, a couple of weapons. Yeah, so a lot of stuff happened visually, but not only that, also on the programming end.
So I'm gonna really quickly cover the technical aspects of our game. So here are some of the features we really want to have in the game, such as procedural generation, artificial intelligence. But actually the main issue was to figure out if we wanted to have a 2D game or a 3D game. And what we settled up for was a mix. So we had 3D characters on top of a 2D world, but this really didn't work out so well. So we had donuts, in the random donuts, I don't even know how that happened. We had lick animations, a foot on top of a shoulder, and yeah, we just fixed that and we accepted the fact that we don't have a social life. We work day and night to make the best game ever. And here it is, yeah, 3D procedural generation, tutorial system, artificial intelligence for the enemies, and they will try to kill you. We have power-up systems. You have 5 seconds to decide what upgrades you want to have. And from the testing sessions we had, we also implemented some visual feedback. So we have a blinking effect whenever you get hit. We have a vignette to have more of a cinematic effect. We have a tone and outline shader to emphasize the cartoonish effect for our game. And finally, red health vignette. I don't know how that is called, but basically lets you know that you're about to die.
Alright, it's time to move on, because just like in our game, we're under a lot of time pressure with this very short presentation. So, not only do you have to fight off multiple enemies, your life is constantly draining, so that's the life bar over there. If you get the opportunity to upgrade your armor, well, your suit or your weapon, you have to do that very fast, otherwise the option disappears. Here are the upgrades that you can collect. If you're good, we have the player on the left, and we have a couple of city items, so you know what's going to happen in the playthrough, because it might get quite chaotic. Now, every game, almost every game, has enemies, and so do we. Now, how on earth is a mailbox an enemy? Well, don't fear, we will explain that. So, without further ado, let's have a look at our story.
In the year of 2099, all was well. The world was at peace. Oh, sweet technology, what happiness you bring. But wouldn't it be a shame if someone were to hack into our happiness? Well, surprise! That's exactly what happened. We are in the midst of a cyber war. Our city's entire infrastructure is under enemy control. But worst of all, someone hacked into our power plant. The attacker initiated a meltdown. All security has been shut off, and radiation is spreading. At least the city has been evacuated. Wait, what? But can it be? Who is this goofball? Isn't that an IT worker from the nuclear plant? Better call the plant director. Maybe we can turn this thing around.
Alright, so there has been a nuclear attack, a nuclear hack, if you want to say so. We would need the Xbox now to show you a bit of gameplay. Sven is going to help me with that, and I'm going to do my very best to make entertaining comments while he plays. Bear with us in case I fail. Elevator music. Alright, I'm going to turn down the volume for a moment. So, let's do this then. You can see our controls here. This is also the loading screen. Now, this is the boss calling, as you might remember from the video. This also serves as our tutorial, so let's see what happens when we pick up our phone. Oh, I'm just gonna read this out. Finally, you're awake. How did you sleep through all of this? No, I'm not angry that you're late for your shift at the plant. We're under a cyber attack. How did you not notice that? The city has been evacuated. Our AI is going bananas. They even hacked into a nuclear reactor and initiated a meltdown. What? Yes, I know that it's your day off. You're the only one left, so go fix it. Now go to the reactor as fast as you can and stabilize the core. Alright, then let's do that. So here you see the environment is procedurally generated every time. Oh, there she is again, a little tooltip to keep on looking at your energy bar because that is constantly draining, whether you get hit by enemies or not. And then for the enemies, we have 3 different AIs. We have kamikazes that are the gray ones. Yes, this one. They will try to hit you. Leo is the AI, by the way. Leo, say hi. Yes. And then we have the bicycle drones. They started off as bicycles. And they are going to shoot at you. Here we have a pop-up, power-up, and Sven chose to power up his weapon. If you collect these blue things, these are batteries that recharge his suit. Oh yeah, I was talking about the enemy type. So the third one is actually a mailbox enemy. I don't think we encountered one of them. But yeah, that's a mailbox. They usually stand around the houses and they shoot at you whenever you get close. One thing that we tried to focus on was to make the shooting feel good because it was our main mechanics. And Julian B, that's our art director right here. Yay. He put a lot of thought on how to create good user feedback. So feedback is actually fundamental. So all these little explosions, the sounds, it was really important to have that in there. Oh yeah, mailbox enemy. Yay. Other than that, oh yeah, here we see the shader coming in. Nihon did that. Nihon, do you want to wave? Oh, yeah, that's. Oh. And we died just in time. We enjoyed this. We hope you did as well. And you're welcome to join us out there. Give it a try. Save the city. Thank you for your attention.
And first we will show you the small video we did with only in-game footage.
So the village of Schmutzab that you see down here is created in the 1900s, and it's in a very peaceful and untouched mountainous area. The inhabitants of this village are very big polluters. They don't care at all about nature, about the environment. They constantly pollute. All this pollution is starting to have a big effect on the surrounding nature, and it's really starting to make nature angry. It's having a heavy impact on the nature too. The glaciers are starting to melt away due to this warming effect caused by the pollution. So your goal in this game is to play as nature and give the village of Schmutzab some payback. You have until 2099 to destroy the village before the glaciers melt away. Your ammunition are avalanches, as you see here, that you can trigger from the surrounding glaciers. So, to build our game, we went through multiple stages, and the first was to build a physical prototype to understand the core mechanics of our game independently of the technical side. We then made some digital renders and also looked at some schema images just to get the feel of what we wanted our game to look like. And finally, we chose to go for a more cartoonish look. So these are the first iterations of our project. So as you can see in the beginning, we had no shadows, a distorted image, basic UI, and then we added more trees, and here you can see the first iteration of the physics simulation of the avalanches. So as you can see, here we have 3 avalanches, and we just simulated the sides. We then interpolated values between the sides of the avalanches and generated particles from all these values. And this allowed us to get something which looks like an avalanche. We then added some glaciers and added a lot of logic for how the glaciers shrink from the 1950s until 2099. Finally, we revamped the UI. We added pollution levels, and we also gave some feedback to a player when he is destroying buildings. So, the biggest challenge in our game was performance. Basically, simulating avalanches on a huge terrain in an efficient way. And, for example, this sequence is a computer-generated one, and it took 12 hours to render, 14 hours to simulate, and 120 gigabytes of storage just to store the particles. And we have to do something which is real time, and we don't have a lot of memory. So that's about it. Let's play our game. So, to simulate avalanches, to approximate the simulation of avalanches, we basically just simulated the sides, and then we interpolated at each stage of avalanches values in between them. So actually, at each frame in an image, we are only simulating 2 physical points of avalanches, and all the rest is just interpolation playing out. What we did for this demo is, as you can see, performance is a big point in our game. The loading time is very long. So yeah, I hope I can show you our game. small game demo that we have here, so it's much faster. And as you can see, the years they start in 1950s and they go much faster to 2099. We constantly have new buildings appearing. As we are in 1950s, we have very basic buildings appearing, and each time you have a new building, you have a little smiley appearing. Kazim can trigger an avalanche here from the glaciers. And we have a small blue zone indicating what amount, what size of avalanche it will trigger. So basically the intuitive idea is that triggering near the edge of a glacier will send a big avalanche, because you can send the entire height of the glacier and not just the surface as you would if you triggered higher. And you're actually gaining karma points when there are the red smileys, when you're destroying the buildings. Once you win some karma points, you can go into the market and use these karma points to unlock weapons and buy other useful items. So as you see, here we jump directly to level 9. So we have some new buildings appearing, and these new buildings, as you go further in the game, they always pollute a bit more. So the pollution level that you see at the top right you have a pollution level, you mustn't go further than this level. New buildings will pollute more and you will get quicker to that level. And your goal is really to stay under it to survive a level and reach 2099 without. And here, Kazim is showing another weapon, because we don't only have avalanches. After our playtest, a lot of people wanted other weapons. And we have what we call a snowball, which you just throw down and explodes down. Here we also have a defense mechanism for a village. So at a certain level, the village will start defending itself and spawn some protections. These protections block avalanches, and the only way to go through these protections, as you see here, is to use what we call a wall banger, which is basically a tree trunk that you can throw down the mountain and break these defenses. Yeah. And then you can continue destroying the village. So, thank you for your attention. Feel free to come and play our game afterwards. If you want to destroy the village as much as we want, just join us. Thank you very much. So, hi everyone. We are Team 4 and we created a game called Dark Matters. So this was a teaser from our trailer. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to show you the whole one, but I think it will be uploaded to a later point to the YouTube page of the Game Technology Center, so make sure to check it out. For now, I want to talk to you about our journey for our game, and at the beginning there was the idea. And our idea was basically to make a cooperative multiplayer game, which is fun to play, where you really have to communicate with each other, where you really have to develop good strategies to score as many points as possible. Because the setting is 2099, we decided on a space setting where you are inside a starship and you try to reach Mars, and basically it's just an endless runner where you need to come as far as possible and all the while you fight off enemies, you collect and manage resources, you also need to manage your speed. And the main mechanic that we wanted to do in our game is basically that you are not just limited to your starship, but you can board smaller shuttles and explore space. And yeah, so this is the first sketch we did, and it looks very, very basic, but basically everything we did is in this sketch. There are some features that are missing, but those are minor ones, and basically all the gameplay you can see it in this sketch. And first, as the other teams, we did our paper prototype, and again, this looks very different to our game, but it's exactly the same, basically. We developed all our gameplay during the prototype phase, and later it was only implementation and refinement. So later we started implementing it, and maybe the main point I wanna talk to you about is that you really need to start small, because such a game, it can be overwhelming to develop it. You have so many tasks to do, so just start simple. Our first thing was we made a shuttle and we made it fly, and it doesn't look like much, but it's this first step that makes you go further. And then we added some objects, and as you can see, there's not even collision, they just fly around, there's no AI, but it's something to build on. It's a game that can already be played, basically, and you just need to add some more features. So a little bit later we had our early gameplay, and this is already playable, and it basically has almost all our gameplays in it. Still there are some things missing, but basically it's almost everything. There are Metroids coming in from the right, enemies coming in from the left, and you just have to survive as long as possible. So after this we were almost done. We did some polishing, and then it looked like this. And yeah, maybe before we go into the demo, to explain a little bit, as I said, you need to collect resources. You can only do that with the shuttles if you leave your main starship. You have to manage your speed, because if you hit Metroids you get slower, and if you are slow, the bad guy will catch up to you, so you need to watch out for that. You can heal your starship, you can drop bombs on the enemy, you have cannons, you can steer the starship out of the way. But I think you will see all that in the demo. So we are confident, we are on difficulty setting very hard. Let's see how it goes. So as you can see, we have our nice UI here, and soon the first Metroids start coming in. It's really loud, and it can be quite overwhelming because those enemies are really hard. So as you can see, you can move the starship up and down to avoid Metroids. Once you get hit, which we have already been a couple of times, you get slower, and the enemy or the boss at the top comes closer to you, he catches up. So if you want to survive longer, you maybe try to avoid that. And those resources, you need to collect them with the small shuttles. If you hit them with your starship, they are lost. If you die while you have resources in your shuttle, the resources are also lost. And okay, now we have our boss. It's the orange guy. He's not happy with us for leaving Earth. So yeah, he wants to show us. Let's see how that one goes. Great speech. So you can also upgrade your cannons. As you can see, both cannons are now upgraded. They do more damage. They have a faster reload time. But yeah, because we are playing on very hard. Oh, it wasn't that hard, I guess. But maybe it's a good point to stop, because as you can see, we have just dropped a bomb, and I want you to look at the enemies now, and you can see what it does to them. So this was a mechanic we put in after the playtesting, or just before the playtesting, as kind of a combat mechanic, because once the enemies are right behind you, you can't hit them because you have a blind spot with your cannons. So we have this bomb as kind of this combat mechanic. So I think that's all. Maybe. If you die, we have this nice game over screen where you can see the statistics of all players who lost the most resources, etc. So you can argue about that after the game. And yeah, thank you very much for your attention. Make sure to check out our game later.
So that's Pocket over there, Nicole over there, our friends from CHDK, and then Simon and Amir, and me, Nicholas, we're from ETH. And we made this small little game here together over the course of this semester, and it was quite a lot of work, but I think the results were quite respectable. So our game is a 2D platformer. It's sort of a mix between stealth action and platforming. It uses 2D pixel art and handcrafted single-player levels, so we didn't want to do a multiplayer experience. And it's set in the dystopian future of 2099, so that's sort of our setting. And it's very story-focused as well, so we have a lot of narrative actually in the game, which also sets it apart from the rest of the entries in here. So this is our initial prototype sort of graphic. I made a couple of these, but this is one of them, sort of to illustrate the basic idea that you can either jump over there, or you can try to hide in spots and try to avoid the enemies. And there was sort of this idea of either you can try to be good at parkour, or you can take your time and wait it out and be sneaky and stealthy. And this developed into our first prototype, which looks sort of like this. So this has tile map rendering and spread animations and very, very basic view cones and all sorts of these kinds of entries. And there, so our 4 gameplay mechanics were together pretty quickly, and that allowed us to iterate very quickly after we had this together. And yeah, so we also did some art design, some character design, but these all turn out to be much too complicated for the minimalistic pixel feel. So we turned to this. So these are all the animations that are in the game. Yeah, and that evolved into this once we had our nice tile set together and our animations, and we revised the viewcon system to be more realistic. And we also added drones that can fly around and catch you. That already made the game look a lot more interesting. And from there on out, it was just a matter of adding more tiles, making the environments more interesting to look at, adding music, adding sounds, and mostly also just designing levels. And once we had all that together, it was, yeah, free rolling from there. So this is our level editor, which is an extra program we created. Can be run in the browser, so anyone can just create levels with this, and that allowed us to quickly throw things together and style them as we want. So you can see here different kinds of level parts, and then different layers that you have, and different tiles you can place on here. And this is all done in a very compact and efficient manner. And now we can show you a bit of live gameplay. So we just made a short demo level to compact things together. So we have story items and dialogue that's shown here. We have door slamming, which is really nice. Yeah, you can climb up all the walls, which was sort of a decision we weren't quite sure about, but it proved much more useful to let the player climb up anywhere at a speed penalty, so they could explore the levels more freely. But of course, once you get caught, that's not really an option anymore. So there's a sort of a balance in level design to be had there. As you can see, all the viewpoints and things are dynamic and depend on the level. So there's no trickery there. He's basically playing through the game to sneaky right now. Which didn't quite work out. Yeah, so here's one of the real levels that you will be able to play. Some story in there. Throughout the levels, there are also books scattered around, which you can pick up for additional story items. So if you're really careful and take your time and go through everything and explore, you can find additional world information and character development information and things like that. So there's sort of an incentive to go exploring and try to not just race through the levels. So the enemies also have a hearing mechanic, as you can see. If you're being loud around them, they'll turn around and try to investigate and find you. And so that will really prompt you to be careful at times and consider your situation. I'm sure you'll be able to figure the game out yourself after the play sessions, the presentations here. Yeah, I hope you do, and I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, so hello everyone. We are Deep Space Gardening and we welcome you to the presentation of our game. So 3 months ago we started thinking about our idea of the game and how we can fit this idea to the concept of 2099. So our idea was basically Deep Space Gardening on a spherical spaceship, and the story of the game is, well, it's 2099, so as expected humanity already made the life in other planets possible, but there is one problem though, and that the ecological system of the planets are harmfully damaged. But luckily, a genius, the professor, has invented a seed machine right next to him, and with which you can produce seeds. And your goal as gardener is basically to grow plants, manage the garden, and deliver the plants so that the planets recover their ecological system. So, yeah, these are screenshots from our tutorial, and now we want to talk about the journey. So this is the very first sketch that we have done, and we started building our game on top of it, and this is where we are right now. So obviously there's a long journey in between. So right now we will show you like some more insights about the challenges we faced on the way. So we firstly implemented the collision detection and resolution mechanism and made the obvious choice of using snowman as gardeners at the beginning. And on top of the physics engine, we built the core gameplay because once you can detect the collision, you can also interact with the objects. And here you see the first seed produced and the first plant growing, and also the watering and all the other stuff. And then the harvesting and the delivering, and you can see the space shuttle leaving to the planet. So this is the very first level design we had. Besides the core objects, we also added some decorations to make our game look better. And at some point, we had to get rid of the snowman, so the first character sketches ended up as our core gardeners, Wiley and the Creep, saying hi to you. And yeah, we wanted to bring life to our characters by animations, but yeah, sometimes things went wrong. You lost the head. Sometimes we had the head, also the arms, but not exactly in the desired position. It was also possible to swim in the garden. And at some point we also didn't know what was happening. But we finally made it, holding an object, also with the way that one is supposed to hold a water can. So speaking of water cans, we had also some performance issues, but we did some optimizations, and finally our game was able to perform well without any certain delays or crashes. And here we did another performance test. And after all, as the last step, we tried to create interesting levels. Like this one here, where the garden is separated into two parts and you have to pass the elements to your friends by the tree stumps. Or like this one here, we have the moving trees that can block certain paths. And at the end, we have 10 unique levels. And so right now we want to show you our short demo. This is our join screen. As you can see, we have different characters. And once you join, then we go to the level selection menu. Yes, here we have different levels, and you can go through them and select. We have 2 demos for today. This is the loading screen. So this is one of the levels where the garden is separated, and you have to work collaboratively by testing the elements through the tree stumps. On the left you see the orders from the planets. The colors correspond to the space shuttle colors. For example, on top of the plants you have the 2 signs, red and blue. They are basically the berries that you have to put into the seed machine to produce that particular plant seed. And on the right, you can see the time and the score. And when you plant, you first have to water, then fertilize, and then you can grab the plant in the bucket and deliver it. You see that takeoff animation. So another order arrived. You can see here the score and the plants you delivered. Now, in the last 30 seconds, it gets more stressful. You can also run, as you know, probably. Time's up. Now we have the game over screen. You can see the delivered plants, the bonus. The faster you complete an order, the more points you get. And then we have the number of stars earned. Usually it is very hard to get 3 stars. And now the second demo. So this is one of the levels where we have moving trees. Right now they are innocent, but soon they will be very annoying. Yeah, here we go. And then you're stuck on the left side and you cannot go to the right side anymore. Now you're stuck on the left. So we are about to be done. You have to wait for the guy that is stuck. Okay, now, so we have a little surprise for you on the back side of the plant. Thank you very much for your attention.
If I can have your attention, please. So, we're team number 7 from Zekadeka. We have Stefan Malik from ETH. We have Jean-Michel, myself, Steven. And we also have another guy who's not with us tonight because he's sleeping. He's in China, so it's okay though. Anyway, we're here to present our game Eggplant. And the way we like to see our game is as an exciting game from ETH that brings a lot of explosions and guarantees an amazing experience. So, when we first started creating our game, we were thinking about mostly our users, that's you guys, and we figured that simple creating another first-person shooter or a racing game, it's not a thing. People at ETH like to use their brain, like a lot. And they're good at planning, because otherwise they would fail all the exams. So we have just the right game for you. It's a turn-based game in which you have to plan 9 different moves in advance. Each and every player must anticipate what others might do in order to win in this game. Now, I'm here to share with you our journey. So, how did this game came to life? We started as a Team 7, which means that we're the last formed team. Basically leftovers. Nobody wanted us. We had no friends to team up with. But yeah, after these 3 months, we became more than a team. We became a family. Malik always shares his half of Kinder Bueno with me, so thanks Malik. And yeah, it was really an amazing experience that I would like to repeat at least once in my life if I could. Anyway, we started as a simple sketch, Michel did. Nothing pretty big, so plain simple. Then we brainstormed a lot and we came up with this new game mechanic, this new game concept. And from that point, Jean was able to create our first JavaScript prototype of the game. It was playable. And from that point, we made our paper prototype. So it was presented here at ETH, at the Game Lab, and the feedback that we got was that our game was a bit too hard to grasp. So our major challenge was to bring it closer to you guys. This was our challenge during the full development cycle of the game. Anyway, after that, Steffi did some nice drawings, and we were able to create a 2D game out of it. You can still see the debug text, but okay. Anyway, we figured that these robots are kind of too cold, and we didn't want you to feel that way, so who doesn't like chickens? And Malik then created these nice 3D models of chicken robots for us, which we then able to integrate in our 3D game. Before we go to the video, I just want to say that we have managed to overcome our biggest challenge, and we made a pretty nice intro with levels and step-by-step where you can learn the game, so job well done for us. And now we have a challenge for you. After the presentation, come and play our game, and if you learn it and somehow manage to beat me, the undisputed champion of eggplant, yeah, beer is on my tab, and this was not a joke, so enjoy the video.
Thank you.
Okay, let's have a big round of applause for those games. Thank you so much. Also, I want to give a real personal, heartfelt thank you, personally from me. So thank you, everyone who took the course, for your time and commitment. I really appreciate it. It makes me proud to watch what you did. So thank you personally from me for that. So we have a few more orders of business to take care of. Not most importantly, but next in line, actually the audience has the chance now, the opportunity to vote for your favorite game, because we're going to award an audience award for the one that you like the best. And we're doing that with a website that allows you to vote. Voting is now open. You have a minute or two to do it. So please visit this website, vote for the game that you like the most.
Question and not continue afterwards. So one of you volunteered and asked a question, and this achievement goes to
Eggplant. Which the question was, it's Michael, but he's not here apparently today. So the question was, what should I ask?
Then, as it goes on, the students have to fill out some assignments, so they have to write a report about their progress. So we also have an achievement for the first Git commit, through which they have to hand in that report. And this achievement goes to
Factory Reset.
And as you have seen in some of the presentations, they have to build a physical prototype. So most of them make like a flat board game, some of them make 3D games, but only one team might like a real physical prototype where they use the physics as part of a game element. So the most physical prototype achievement goes to
Netherlands.
Then next we have all kinds of reports that we have to look at. Those reports in different quality. Some are very minimalistic, others are super long. So we also have an achievement for the most detailed reports, and this goes to Then, as a communication app, we use Slack. So we created a channel for each team. And then, well, the teams that use Slack differently. So we have an achievement for the most expressive team on Slack. And this achievement goes to Factory Reset. Now, all the games obviously involve a lot of coding, and the coding is done in C#, so we have an achievement for most lines of C#, and that goes to Skyrunner with 18,663 lines. Of the day. So on one side we have the early birds, which have most of their commit, or the team that worked a lot in the morning from like 7 to 12. And that goes to the dark matters. And on the other side we have the students who like to work at night, so the night owls. And now this particular team has 15% of their entire commits from midnight to 7 a.m. This goes to Skyrunner. Now, code is not really a lot of data, so the repository doesn't grow that much just with code, but with all the assets required for the games, the repository can grow quite a bit. So we have an achievement for the heaviest repository with 2.7 gigabyte. This goes to Deep Space Garden. branches. So we have the achievement for most Git branches, and with 34 branches, this goes to Azimuth.
So thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Arena. Great job on these amazing achievements, especially most expressive on Slack. I think it's a good one. I want to mention one other thing, which is we're very fortunate that we have a close relationship with a professional AAA game studio based in Brighton called Studio Gogo. They've worked with us for year after year after year to help improve the course, give feedback, and actually execute playtesting sessions where the teams, the professional developers at Gogo, had an opportunity to play all the games you saw here. So that's really fortunate. These are some photos you can see in their office testing some of the games. And they not only tested the games, but they also are serving as our expert jurors, because we're awarding a jury prize tonight too. So in just a moment, we're going to talk about the Audience Choice Award, the Jury Choice Award. Before I do that, I want to make just one quick call out that the game programming laboratory, so the course that the students took, is part of a wider ecosystem at ETH, which centers around the Game Technology Center, where we're also exploring the role of game technology in research and education. So if you liked what you saw here, if you're a prospective student, please take the course when the time is right. But also, if you're interested in other things going around in this area, feel free to check out our website or our Twitter account. Love to hear your feedback and learn about your interest. So, now it's time. We're first going to talk about the jury award, and for that I'll invite Tom Williams on stage, who traveled here yesterday from Brighton and can talk about the award. Here you go, Tom.
Hi everyone. As Bob mentioned, my name is Tom Williams and I work at a studio in Brighton called Gobo. We've had quite a long association with the course. I think we first came in the second year, and it's amazing to see just every year the bar lifts and lifts and lifts. So this year's no exception. I think it's an amazing job by all of the teams. You should all be very proud, and I hope you had a really enjoyable experience with making the games as well, because it's about development as much as the game itself. So Bob wanted me to say a bit about our testing process. We have a QA department that set up a lab for us. For this, each week we have a show and tell where the whole company gets together and kind of show the latest things that have gone into our games, and then afterwards everyone got to sit down and play the games and sort of add feedback and come up with a consensus on which our favourite was. So with that in mind, I thought I would, before announcing the team, I'd just go over some of the feedback for their game. So the first line I thought was really nice. Absolutely charming, well animated and a great premise. Love the simple mechanic, and then very funny, and I for one could not stop playing it. So our choice for the jury award was Team 6, Deep Space Guardians.
So, here we go. Great. So, well, I would now like to announce the audience award. The votes are in. Thank you all for participating. Actually, we had a record number of votes this time because we had such a great turnout. And the audience award also goes to... So, big congratulations. The game was fantastic. In my opinion, all the games are fantastic, and I'm really happy and proud with what came out of the course this year. Last year, 2 of our games went on to be featured at Gamescom. One of them is actually being commercialized. I think this year there's also huge potential, so I hope to see this happen again. So again, congratulations. Next order of business, all of the games you saw are set up just outside this room. So please join us for a drink, some snacks.